Shoutouts to this Twitter account. They have provided us with an exclusive interview with the person that made Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, what was it, Episode 9? What it was. A lot of people were just absolutely shocked at Higuruma versus Yuji. And it was genuinely that insane. And the really cool thing about this is that one person named NIAN41, he does not do Japanese animation, or he's not worked on Japanese animation yet. This was his debut project, and bro, I think he popped off. A lot of people were also hyping this guy up from Supercube. There was a previous incident back with JC Staff's Kenichi Aoki, another legendary animator, and his statements about this animator, right? And basically saying, wow, amazing animation, but I feel like the direction is a little off, and it was supposed to be like a compliment and like a criticism, and there's like a lot of drama that happened from the language barrier. Regardless, we have an interview with NIAN41. Let's check it out. So, exclusive interview with the exceptional talent NIAN41 about his work as an animator and his work involved in JJK. Who is NIAN41? We would like to introduce yourself from your perspective and share it with us. NIAN41. I'm a Chinese artist. I participated in works such as Outer World, The Fist Fire, Supercube, I think that's the one a lot of people are recognizing with, Kuntun Tianxia, and of course the work that many people have recently come to know me for, Jujutsu Kaisen. And here are the other like specific sakuga that he's been known for. This one. This one. Some crazy action happening here. What the fuck? Is that an Onahole? Don't worry about it. This is the JJK scene. It's cool to see. Like, I don't know if this is called a Genga or like whatever. It's like the draft, right? Of seeing like what happens before it actually makes it onto the screen. So these are some of the other works that he's been involved with. How do you see the current state of the Chinese industry? And what are your thoughts on its future? Nian, to be honest, I feel a bit confused and lost. Currently, Chinese industry seems to like a complete 3D animation stage, while the 2D animation scene doesn't look at all. So that's very interesting because Lord of the Mysteries, remember, the other donghua we've been watching, the background assets in 3D tech is crazy. And there was another anime too, Who Made Me a Princess, that also utilized 3D tech in a really innovative way that I didn't see from other Japanese studios. China does seem to really just lead the front with 3D tech, but obviously for 2D loyalists like Nian, I guess it's kind of better for him to expand his portfolio and try out different things. That's why he might be doing JJK like here. How do you read the current state of Chinese animation industry, and how do you view its future? To be honest, I feel a bit lost and uncertain, right? Currently, the Chinese industry seems to be almost entirely state of 3D animation, while the state of 2D animation doesn't look good at all. With the significant impact AI will surely bring in the future, I can't really predict what will happen. Nian, you're a Chinese animator who suddenly appeared and caused a huge stir on Twitter with your scene in Supercube. That scene did go crazy. I feel like a lot of people are clipping the crazy fight scenes happening and saying, holy shit, China is cracked. That's what people are talking about and why they know, but we'd like to know what's behind the scene and your beginnings. Tell us your story, how you started, and how you learned and fell in love with this work. I've been obsessed with Sakuga since school. Sakuga, again, is 2D animation. You are a Chinese... what is this? Why are you doubling this shit? Wait. Nian is saying, I've been upset with Sakuga since school. And then, you are a Chinese animator who suddenly appeared on Supercube. This is what people discuss and know, but we would like to know your story behind that scene and your beginnings. Tell us. This is weird. It's fucking looping again. I've been a Sakuga fan since high school, but when I graduated from university, I couldn't enter the 2D industry immediately. My first job was a storyboard artist for the animation Outer World, but in my heart, I still wanted to do 2D animation. So again, more 3D stuff being pushed to him, but his heart's with 2D. Since I couldn't find a suitable position, I worked on my own film, The Fist Fire, privately while maintaining my job. The name kind of sounds like Fire Punch actually, but it's Fist Fire. After that film was released, Mr. Nishimura Ryo found me and I began collaborating with Big Firebird on Supercube. I wanted to do an experiment because I've always loved creating combat scenes and many ideas to realize. I had the ambition to create an episode focused entirely on action. So again, this guy is specifically just like going all out in hype action Sakuga. And it's cool to see. The company was very supportive, but we produced that episode. From there, I moved on to Kuntun Tianxia. And during that time, the Jujutsu Kaisen team reached out to me after seeing my work. Man, Isn't it actually so cool that this dude was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. I'll like do my own little, film stuff. And with my indie projects, I'll be able to see, like, my talent will be recognized by other people, get brought into more projects. And it's kind of crazy how team over at Mappa recognized this guy and said, you know what, bro, come over and work on this specific episode. Higuruma versus Yuji, I feel like it's quite a significant part of the story in this current, Sendai colony, right? And for them to give him the reins to go all out, remember, a key animator, right, means that they can basically just have the creative opportunity to just go all out. Yeah, the director is the one that, creates all the storyboards and the templates and the draft, but in Japanese animation, right, compared to Western and Hollywood, since she said that, like, Japanese animators have a lot more, like, leniency and freedom to do whatever they want. So, like, the stuff that Higuruma was doing, like the fucking crazy action sequences and, like, the constant throwing of the hammer shit, like, that shit Gege I don't think thought about. That's something very specific to NIAN41, and it's really making motions. Let's see. Who is your godfather or primary inspiration in the field of animation? Do you wish to emulate this path, or do you prefer to craft your own story? There are many, and it's obvious to everyone that I greatly admire Yutaka Nakamura. This guy is glazed by everybody, huh? And this is a My Hero Academia scene where Yutaka Nakamura scene, I think is very highlighted. And what's that? The crazy impact frames, the background layers moving in such a dynamic way to create this like movement, even though the focus character, Todoroki is like in the middle, right? This whole sequence is so cool. As soon as you see background layers just start moving like that, it's like, oh shit, it might be Nakamura. There are so many others that if I were to name them all, I could list almost everyone in the industry. However, I'm definitely trying to merge this inspiration to create my own style. Do you plan at any time soon to leave China and work abroad? Nian says, I don't have that plan at the moment. Besides, my academic performance was poor and I don't know any other languages, so I don't think I could survive overseas. Humble guy, a bit chopped in his, I guess, college, high school performance. It's not too good, but hey, who needs that shit when you have crazy Sakuga talent? Again, it's so cool that he can just work in China, right? He can simply work from home, collaborate with others, and deliver this type of work without having to be overseas. It's such a cool little convenience that he has. Since you recently worked in the Japanese industry, what were the most significant difficulties you faced there? Did you find fundamental differences between it and the Chinese industry? Nian, the biggest difficulty is probably being based in China combined with the language barrier, which makes timely and effective communication difficult. As for the work environment, there are similar pressures, but each industry has its own specific organization style. So even with the language barrier, even, with different time zones and work culture, it's crazy how they all just, came to be. I guess like the structure and the workflow is so optimized that you don't really need to be constantly communicating in the same language. It's just like, hey, here's the goals and you're going to do this and here's a checklist and get that shit done. Goso! What is the secret behind choosing to work on Jujutsu Kaisen over other works, given that your fame and reputation could open the doors to the most current works in the industry? That's kind of crazy, considering I feel like JJK is like the peak right now in terms of like what animators want on their resume. Like, I understand Fate Strange Fake exist, Freerun, Sentenced to be a Hero, there's a lot of very ambitious projects happening. But like, don't you think JJK is competition for like the top of the top for your resume? The main reason is that they were the first to reach out to me. Additionally, I am a true fan of the JJK series and I really like the director Goso's style. So being able to participate was truly a dream come true. It wouldn't be a JJK video without glazing this man. It's actually crazy how much influence and impact this one person has made. Goso's storyboarding, man, it's just something else, huh? How was your initial feelings when you received the storyboard from director Goso? Describe your thought. I immediately thought with total determination, I must draw this part no matter what. I guess it's like his childhood hero, right? I don't know if childhood hero is the right word, but like someone that he deeply respects and doesn't want to let down, and he clutched. I think this fight scene was so fucking cool. Oh. How was the freedom to expand within the storyboard content? Was there significant space to adopt your additional ideas? This is a question I'm very interested in because again, there is this, what was it? I just said about how in Japanese animation, right, the key animator involved can basically kind of take in their own control of the storyboard given by the director. Yes, I feel that director Goso gave me a great deal of creative freedom and expressed his approval of the ideas I added. So again, they're very, very open for key animators to just pop off in their own way. Of course, when I went a bit too far, he would pull me back a little. However, the schedule this time was indeed tighter than before, so I had to compromise on certain drawing methods. I feel that if I had to push myself a bit more, I might have done even better. And there's a lot of scenes that was, you know, part of the draft process that shows NIAN's like models for Yuji and other characters, and it looks so funny because it's not even like the same model. And the key the second key animators, right, the in-betweeners, everyone that like worked to polish and kind of complete the final product, there's a lot of credit to be given there too. Usually, do you like to choose your scenes and segment yourself, or do you prefer to settle for the director's choice and get to work directly? I feel like a person that is with the former rather than the latter is more ambitious. The latter, I feel like, is just like a soldier that's being told what to do and they just kind of like do it right. But I think it's more cool when a person takes their own creative opportunity and has the audacity to challenge the main director and say, nah, this is the way it should be, rather than just following orders. But then again, right, you have to think about like teamwork and collaborations and not wanting to step on other people's toes and being respectful. Other people are most familiar with my animation in my previous jobs. Although people were mostly familiar with my animation from my previous jobs, I was mainly responsible for the storyboarding and directing, so I was actually the one deciding what everyone should draw. However, for Jujutsu Kaisen, I chose to stick to what I'm best, animation. And since it was my first time working on Japanese animation, I didn't want to take too many risks with my choices. So taking the safe route, but I feel like NIAN's colors, his distinct flavors was present, right? Like specifically the hammer throwing scene, I think was all him. A lot of people, it's a speculation, but I don't think that's something that Goso had envisioned. I think that was, again, the creative liberty that NIAN took and Goso signed off on it. How do you deal with the pressure? This is the scene I'm talking about. How do you deal with the pressure of deadlines? Do you always finish the work right at hand, or are you fast enough to complete it early? I can dynamically adjust the difficulty of the animation. If the schedule pressure is extremely high, I draw a bit more simply, and if there's sufficient time, I try to do things that are beyond my current capabilities. So I managed to complete the work just barely on time. So there's like a very efficient way of optimizing the quality. He can just like dial it up, right? If there's enough time, like higher quality, less time, lower. I mean, that's like a simple thing that I think everyone should be able to do. It'd be cool to see if it'd be so cool though if this guy was like a complete egoist and said like, I always finish on time. There is no schedule that I cannot complete. But probably not good idea to come off too cocky. I feel like if you come off too cocky, a lot of people start shitting on you. Are there any rituals or habits you perform before starting to draw and animate that help you reach maximum concentration? I play a few rounds of video games to clear my mind. I wonder exactly what video game that he is playing. Yeah, it's that Weilin Hao guy, you know, I'm talking about the Chinese animator, the person that was working on like Naruto Shippuden when he was like in high school or something, and he's talking about how he's God's gift to Earth. Wonder what kind of games he plays. Finally, we would like to address the word to the audience that eagerly anticipates NIAN41's next appearance. Are there any famous Japanese works you hope to participate in the future? Thank you so much for your support. I will work hard to create a better animation. As someone who grew up watching anime, there are naturally many projects I would love to be part of, but it depends on the situation and whether the schedule is suitable. That's a cop-out answer, bruh. Just say it. List the fucking anime title, but I guess again, right? It's not a good idea to be that bold and audacious and cocky. Maybe that would kind of ruin the opportunity. It's better to kind of hold your cards and be humble and not, you know, let speculations, you know, spread, but who knows? I'll be definitely there to watch it. I'm very excited to see what NIAN has in for Japanese animation. And that's pretty much it. And this is the guy's picture. In closing this interview, I extend my sincere thanks to the talented, you know, NIAN41's, right? Thanks to him and his positive cooperation, which allowed us to complete this interview in record time. Also, the interview was also completed in record time. God, what can't this guy fucking do? The journey is still in its early stages. I'm certain that his future will be very promising. This star will shine is expected, perhaps even brighter. Oh my god, the glaze is crazy. But honestly, I think the glaze is absolutely deserved. It's again so cool to see a Chinese animator come out and debut for such a big project like Jujutsu Kaisen. I think JJK being like your debut anime pretty much means that like you are him. You have that talent. No regular person just gets to be recruited like this. The way that he presented himself throughout the interview was very casual and humble, saying, oh yeah, you know, I just did my thing. I'm not too smart. I just love animating and I'm just here to do the thing. But come on. We all know this guy is insane crack talent, generational talent pulling up. It's so cool to see again how the workflow and the system in place in making anime, like as long as you can do it, you get to do it, right? All these Twitter webgen animators and people that's not from like the organic like ground up Japanese pipeline, as long as you have the talent to pull up. Again, there's some like negatives with it, but for people that can do it, man, again, it's so cool to see like the boundaries of animation get pushed and pushed. This is the man, bro. This is the man, NIAN41. Don't forget that name.